there's one thing that you guys know whenever it's talked about online, I have to get my grubby little hands on it, and that's of course 3D Mario. You know when someone's talking about 3D Mario, I have to chime in. I hear the word 3D Mario and my spidey senses start tingling, or my plumber senses, I guess. Now, this young YouTuber that normally posts Mario and Sonic content on YouTube, obviously called SF Productions, made a video just pretty much saying, I'm worried about the next 3D Mario. And I watched a good chunk of it, and you know what? I don't agree with the video, but at the same time, I think, he was just listing some honest, worries that he had. Of course, Twitter blows these things out of proportion. But I've seen this video on my timeline literally the last 2 days, non-stop. And I just had to chime in on it. For one, the video is now taken down because you guys are just bullies and make everyone feel bad for having an opinion online and posting a video. So please, go show SF Productions some love, because he didn't deserve all that hate. He didn't say anything crazy. He acted like he just shunned the entire Mario fandom or something. But I read a lot of comments that actually agree with him. In fact, over the last couple of years, I have read a lot of comments on my channel of people being worried as well, especially when it comes to it potentially being open world. There's a lot of things that I see people actually legitimately worrying about. I'm gonna dive into this and tell you why you don't really need to worry. But first, I want to thank today's sponsor, Maono, for sending over their brand new PD 100-watt wireless dynamic microphone. This microphone frees you from wires and allows you to make content wherever you want to go. It has noise reduction and crystal clear sound and monolink software. With it being wireless, it also means you don't have to worry about hooking up tons of stuff in your desk or setup. It's super simple. It even comes with a little attachable arm that you can put to your desk. But if you don't want to use an arm at all, you absolutely don't have to. And once again, there's no wires or anything that you have to plug up. All you have to do is take the USB-C receiver, plug it into whatever device that you're using, and you're good to go. Power up your microphone and start speaking. But this little lightweight bad boy has a lot plugged into it, including advanced 7-layer noise reduction, monolink app software to use with your microphone, wireless dynamic microphone for gaming with 2.4 gigahertz of wireless design that keeps your desk setup clean and cable free, 82 decibels of SNR broadcast level audio quality, dual mode output simultaneously, USB and wireless dual connection, super low latency, which I know is normally an issue for wireless products, especially a mic, but let me tell you, I noticed no latency. A whopping 40 hours of battery life, which is hard to get on any wireless electronic, not to mention a microphone, 16.8 lumens of adjustable RGB lights, and plug-and-play simplicity. And of course, with this mic being wireless, you can take it pretty much anywhere, whether you're on vacation or some type of work trip, or if you're just making content on the go. This would have been awesome to have when I was on vacation, and Nintendo Directs normally pop up. I go on vacation in September, so that's a bad time. I needed this. Also, if you're around crowds or busy noise, you can also turn on noise reduction, which has 3 levels here at the bottom of the microphone. So that way you don't have to worry about any type of noise interrupting your voice. And also, the microphone comes with a USB-C to USB cord, and also a USB-C to USB adapter. This mic is also perfect for me right now because I'm just now starting to make more on-camera content with TikToks and YouTube Shorts, so it's easy to have a mic that I can literally just take wherever I want and move wherever I want without worrying about cords getting in the way. But if you want to get your hands on your very own wireless mono mic, all you have to do is click the link in the description down below. And once again, huge thanks to Maono for sponsoring today's video. So why is it that people are so worried about this 3D Mario, and they really haven't been this way with any other past 3D Mario? Well, I think one of the big issues is the wait. I think with people waiting as long as they have, with this without a doubt being the longest wait between 3D Mario games, I think people are getting the wrong idea that just because it's taking forever that there's something wrong with this, or like it's going through a development crisis. I don't think that's the case at all. If anything, I think it's the opposite. I think they're going for something a lot more ambitious and something bigger and better than ever, and it's taking a very long time for them to do so. That's why they've had to have things like Bowser's Fury in between, and probably the reason why we had 3D Donkey Kong before this 3D Mario. They need more time to cook. So, as someone who is very impatient with this game, as it's been so long and I really just want to see this thing, I'm also understanding that I don't think this is necessarily or really at all a bad thing for Nintendo. If anything, I think it's a very positive thing that Nintendo is cooking something extremely unique. Now, if this game comes out to be an Odyssey 2 or Galaxy 3 or 64 2, Sunshine 2, I would like that one. But my point is, if we had to wait 8+ years for a sequel of a past game, then I think people should be upset, because that's just insane. But a lot of people's worries stems from a recent Mario game. Yes, Mario Kart World. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you probably heard that this is probably the most controversial game that Nintendo has released in years, man. I mean, every day I hear someone saying something negative about Mario Kart World. I gave you guys a lot of my opinions. I am not a big fan of Mario Kart World and the stuff that they did with this game. But at the same time, I make it seem like I hate this game. I don't. I'm just very disappointed in it. In fact, I gave it a 7 out of 10 in my giant review, which means I don't hate it. I don't. I've had a lot of fun times with the game. I just think it does a lot wrong, and just a lot that really disappointed me after that long wait for the next Mario Kart game. So a lot of people are thinking, well, we waited 11 years for this next Mario Kart just to get a pretty lackluster Mario Kart experience. What if the same thing happens with 3D Mario? I think this is a worry that immediately needs to be shut down. 3D Mario has nothing to do with Mario Kart. I mean, it's completely different developers compared to the 3D Mario team, and whatever Mario Kart and the Mario Kart developers are working on has nothing to do with any mainline 2D or 3D Mario adventure game. One of the main issues because of Mario Kart World was that open world, and I see a lot of people saying like it's scaring them that Nintendo seems to be pushing for more of an open world experience for the next 3D Mario. They did it with Bowser's Fury, and they did it with Mario Kart World, so I think a lot of us are expecting this next 3D Mario to be open world in some sort of way. And honestly, I'm extremely excited about that. I think there's a lot of potential for what they could do. And I think people hear the words open world and they get freaked out. They think Nintendo's going to ruin this game. It's not going to feel like Mario. You're going to have these giant, vast landscapes with nothing to do in them, and they keep recalling, look at what they did with Mario Kart. Well, this is a racing game, so having an open world in the first place probably wasn't even the best idea, and it's one of my issues with the game. But why am I not worried about a 3D Mario game in an open world? Because they've done it already. Bowser's Fury is our first open world 3D Mario experience that we ever had. It's just on a very small scale. And almost anyone that I ever talked to had a blast with Bowser's Fury. I even have content creator friends of mine that tell me literally all the time that Bowser's Fury is probably their favorite 3D Mario game. And when you look at it, there's still so much more they could do to make this 10 times better. I mean, it's a 4-hour mode with restricted movement in the 3D World game style, a small open world with very few biomes and regions to explore, and repetitive boss battles. But even with that in mind, people love this. And it's open world. And it works. It doesn't feel like there's any spot in Bowser's Fury that feels empty or boring or there's nothing to do. Every nook and cranny is full of some type of obstacle course or mission for you to complete. And there's never a moment where I felt bored. I say to myself all the time, could you imagine if we had just one massive open world and there was tons of different biomes like a desert or a snow area or a jungle, and they acted like the individual islands from Bowser's Fury, where each of these areas we could just walk to in any order and complete tons of platforming challenges, do little story missions, and even fight overworld enemies and bosses as we do so, and find tons of hidden details, Easter eggs, and secrets along our way and within the open areas. I could go on and on and on about an open world Mario game and how perfectly it would work, and I'm probably going to do it again in a future video knowing me, so I won't spend too much more time here. But stop worrying that if it's open world, it's going to ruin what we love about 3D Mario, because Bowser's Fury definitely didn't. It felt like a true 3D Mario game, true and true, just a very short one. With it having this much development time, you should not be worried if it's a 3D Mario game. You're still going to have your 3D platforming challenges, and I'm sure a lot of them are going to be linear 3D platforming challenges, just with a fun world to explore when you're outside of those challenges. So do not worry about that. And do not worry about Mario Kart World being some type of indicator that Nintendo's different now and that they didn't cook all the way with Mario Kart World. They're not going to cook all the way with the next 3D Mario. They're not even related. Next up, let me just say, have we ever had a reason to be worried? I mean, I've said this a lot with Zelda, and I'll be honest, the only time I've been let down with the next upcoming Zelda was Tears of the Kingdom, but still, for a lot of people, it's their favorite game of all time. That's just a personal issue that I had with the game, but still, I could recognize that almost every single Zelda has been pretty much a 10 out of 10 for me. And even with Tears of the Kingdom letting me down a little bit, I truly do believe the next Zelda game, if it's finally out of the stupid Breath of the Wild era, is going to be peak. And why do I believe this? Because for every new console, every 3D Zelda, and even 2D Zelda for that matter, has been peak to me, has been nearly 10 out of 10. There's a reason why we normally get one of these per console, because it takes so much time to develop such amazing AAA titles. Look at Mario. What reason do we have to worry about the next 3D Mario game? Every single Mario game, in my eyes, is pretty much a 10 out of 10, with the lowest probably being a 9 out of 10. Mario 64 was legendary when it came out. Regardless of what you think about it today, so many years later, it revolutionized 3D platforming in the very first 3D Mario game, the one to start them all. Mario Sunshine might be a lot of people's least favorite, but it's still one of my favorites. It just improved on that movement. It had some issues of its own, but expanding on Mario's moveset, giving him a permanent power-up with Flood, and also taking you to a brand new region being Al Delfino, and connecting all the worlds into one giant world was an awesome new thing to look forward to. They completely reshaped what 3D Mario was. Mario Galaxy, going for more of a linear 3D Mario approach, but now putting him in space with tons of new power-ups, gravity mechanics, and just a whole brand new story. It was so good, in fact, it got a sequel a couple years later, which was even better than the first one in my opinion. Now we have Mario 3D Land, the one that I would say is probably a 9 out of 10, but I still think it's a really great game when you consider the fact that it is on a mobile device. It's literally on the Nintendo 3DS. It would be the first portable 3D Mario game ever. Was it very linear and kind of short? Of course, but it's the first 3D Mario game on a portable game ever, and it does so in a really great way. It has really fun, tight, single-player focused levels that is still a joy to revisit even today. Then Mario 3D World would come out and be the first HD 3D Mario game and the first one to offer 4-player multiplayer, and it was a stellar title, even though, once again, it being linear and this time multiplayer focused. It is a lot of people's favorite 3D Mario game still. Super Mario Odyssey, my personal favorite that finally beat out Super Mario Sunshine. Going back to those sandbox roots that Mario 64 and Sunshine had, but also now incorporating a brand new mechanic where we can turn into classic and brand new Mario enemies and objects around us and actually play as those enemies and objects. I mean, that is a revolutionary idea. It was so good. I was so disappointed we never got an Odyssey 2 because I wanted to turn into even more enemies. I mean, there's no way in the world you look at Mario Odyssey and don't see 10 out of 10. I mean, some people do. I don't get it, but I don't get it. And I just brought up Bowser's Fury. For a lot of people, it's also their favorite 3D Mario game because Nintendo once again experimented and this time gave us the first truly open world experience for Mario, but just on a smaller scale. So why are we worried about the next 3D Mario game? We shouldn't be, because Nintendo has proven time and time again that every 3D Mario game offers something new. It offers something unique. Nintendo is about innovation. We know this next 3D Mario game is going to do something big, something bold. And I think that's exactly why Bowser's Fury even happened in the first place. It was testing the waters of what an open world Mario game could be like. And I really do think that the next game is going to be that and so much more. You can't get upset about open world 3D Mario when Nintendo did it on a small scale and it was a massive, huge success. And I think if anything, Donkey Kong Bonanza should put your worries to rest too, because once again, Nintendo didn't just make a 3D Donkey Kong game. Instead, they made something very unique and different. The last 3D Donkey Kong was DK64 26 years ago, so Nintendo literally could have just brought back another basic 3D platformer but with Donkey Kong and called it a day, and people still would have loved it. But no, the Odyssey team decided to go the extra step and just do something completely bizarre with it, making it a game where you could dig, destroy the terrain, pick up the terrain and use it and have all these transformations. They went above and beyond. And I'm sure Donkey Kong Bonanza didn't sit perfectly with everyone, but still, I think for a majority of us, it was a 10 out of 10 experience. And I know Kirby and the Forgotten Land was HAL Labs and worked on by Nintendo, but still, at the same time, just look at what they did with Kirby. Kirby has never had a 3D platformer, and it did so in the most ambitious way possible. It could have just been a basic little platformer in Dream World, but no, they made this awesome 3D experience with tons of secrets and Easter eggs and new copy abilities and mouthful mode and a crazy wacky story with brand new enemies and bosses and lore. I mean, they went above and beyond for the first 3D Kirby ever. What makes you think Nintendo won't go above and beyond for the 8th 3D Mario game? Technically 9th if we count Bowser's Fury. At the end of the day, I think Nintendo is cooking up something special. In fact, I know they're cooking up something special. And I know you might be thinking, I'm the Nintendo forgot about 3D Mario guy. Listen, I had issues with the fact that this game hasn't been revealed yet. Not so much the quality of what this game is going to be. I don't have a piece of doubt in my mind that this next 3D Mario game is going to be anything lower than a 9. Like, I do think this is going to be a 10 out of 10 experience and something so ambitious, so awesome that we never even expected. That's why it's been taking so long. And when you look at this as a brand new console with the Switch 2, and Nintendo probably definitely also wants to show off something with power and show off how strong the Switch 2 can be, I feel like 3D Mario is going to be that game that all makes us drop our jaws and say, oh my gosh, this looks incredible. Like a Breath of the Wild moment for Mario. Now, if you're worried about when this game's going to come out, that's a different thing, because that one I completely understand. I see a lot of people are now just telling themselves that for sure, this has to be coming by holiday of 2026. That means there should be a reveal at the beginning of next year. There should be, like, there would have to be if that's the case. But I'm just tired of predicting dates, and I'm not even sure if next year is going to be it now. Who knows if anything changed with Bowser's Fury Edition a couple of years ago, and now with the addition of Donkey Kong Bonanza this year. Is Mario going to be on the chopping block, and is it going to be a very long time still until we see this thing? It's hard to say, but all I can tell you is do not worry about this next 3D Mario game. Nintendo knows what they're doing. They've been making 3D Mario games for over 25 years. We are all safe in Nintendo's hands with 3D Mario. But thank you for tuning in. Please stop being mean to people for having opinions. Let people talk about their own worries if they have them. But I'm here to not point fingers, not bully people, and point at them and laugh for views on the internet, but instead reason with people and try to figure out why they might be worried. So I'm hoping that I was able to help some of you out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all have an absolutely blessed day, and I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.